How's it going, guys? So Attack on Titan Season 2, Episode 10, 35 in total. This is another build-up type episode, kind of similar to what we've had with the past two episodes ever since, Eren went up against the Armored and Colossal Titan. But this episode, I think, was paced a little bit better, where by the end of the episode, you're hyped for what is to come, because we have everyone from the cadets. We have Jean, we have Mikasa, we have Hannes even with them, with Armin, Sasha. The whole group is together riding on horses, chasing after Reiner in his Armored Titan form, with Bertolt, who has Eren on his back, and then Ymir, who just got away with Krista. So the next episode looks like we're going to have some action-packed stuff. I'm really looking forward to that, because I want to see Mikasa and the group go up against these new enemies that have now come to the forefront of Reiner, Bertolt, and now supposedly Ymir joining their cause. But at the very beginning of this episode, we actually get a lot of info dump, which I'm actually really happy that we are getting more and more answers to the questions that we've had since season 1 of Attack on Titan. So what I really like at the very beginning of the episode, it starts off with Hanji's kind of like cadet, Moblit, is going to Connie's village, and they basically hold up a picture to the Titan that's in his house. So anyone that was just unsure that that was Connie's mom, now you have photographic evidence that they compared the picture of his mom flipped upside down and compared it with the Titan. So that right there just basically confirms that the Titan in Connie's house is in fact his mom. But moving over to Eren, Ymir, Reiner, and Bertolt, we come to learn more and more information, and we learn a lot about Ymir within this episode because we actually get a good flashback with her character. But before that, we actually come to learn that they're trying to, bring Ymir and Eren back to their hometown, but they're wondering if Eren is the coordinate. I actually have no idea what the hell that even means. I'm not sure if that's like a special type of Titan or something, but they call him if he's the coordinate, we need to bring him back with them. But what I also really like is that Reiner basically tells Bertolt that if we ever meet up with Annie, tell her how you feel. So we know right now that Bertolt has a crush on Annie, which kind of sucks because Annie right now is in a cocoon-like state underground somewhere in the innermost walls. So odds are they're not going to be seeing her for a very, very long time. But I do find it funny that the quiet one out of the whole group has been eyeing Annie ever since, they came over and were trying to destroy humanity. So the murderer does have a heart in some way, and he does have feelings for Annie, which I think is very nice to see. But there's a lot of knowledge that kind of gets dropped as Eren is just trying to beat the ever-living shit out of Reiner. And I got a kick out of that part where Eren is basically saying, I'm not going to do anything to you, so you have nothing to worry about. And then immediately after, he just headbutts him and starts punching him with the stumps where his hands used to be, just screaming, die, 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 and just having Reiner push him off and then just chokehold him until he passes out, which I was like, this is hilarious. And Eren just can't control his emotions, but Bertolt and Ymir have this conversation about, shifting into Titans. Because we already know that Ymir ate their childhood friend when they were coming over to try to break down the wall, and this ended up changing her from a Titan back to her human form, as the information states within this episode. But not only that, it seems that Ymir was wandering outside the walls as a Titan for 60 years, and apparently she doesn't remember eating their friend. And Bertolt even said, well, I don't remember eating the person as well, same thing with Reiner, and they look over at Eren and say, well, I can tell by Eren that he doesn't remember either. So it seems that if you turn into a Titan, you have to eat a specific person in order to transform back. So hopefully we get more information going on down the line with that. But then once, the Survey Corp and the military police, the whole brigade is basically closing in on the whole giant forest, we have Reiner, Bertolt, and the gang basically trying to escape. But this is when we go into Ymir's flashback, which goes to show that she was actually raised in this society. She started out as this poor girl just living on the streets, but then was kind of taken in by a cult, given a new name, the name Ymir, but then just being worshipped. She was being fed, she had a bed to sleep in. And she had all of these people basically worshiping her as the blood of the king. So I have no idea what that entails with what's going on outside the walls, but you can definitely tell that once this group got caught, and Ymir even stated throughout this entire episode, and it really makes sense why she doesn't lie and just basically says what she wants to say ever since we've been introduced to her character, because she has lied for the majority of her life, and that's gotten her nowhere. So she wants to live for herself, and that is demonstrated very well within this episode. But it's the part in the of backstory when everyone gets, dragged through the city. They're tied up, getting pelted with rocks, and they're on top of this wall. And it seems that each person, right before they get kicked off, gets injected with something. And now, going all the way back to season 1, we know that Eren got injected with this needle and serum from his father. Maybe that has something to do with it, because that's the only thing that comes to my mind from Attack on Titan that we've seen, where someone sticks you with something, and then, you get this Titan power or something, because as soon as Ymir is stuck and she gets kicked over the wall, which I gotta say, that was a brutal scene, just seeing how desperate everyone was on top of the wall, not wanting this to happen, but Ymir falling down, and then just seeing her next scene as a Titan just roaming the area, just basically sleeping at night, because Titans can't move at night, but then coming across Reiner and his gang eating his friend, and then thus transforming back into a Titan, or not transforming from a Titan back into a normal person, and realizing that she's been given a second chance. And that's where she starts right then and there to try to live for herself. And, it leads up into the order that we've kind of seen her life go through, where she's living on the streets again, living for herself, finds out this girl named Krista is in the Cadet Corps, goes to look for her, and that basically brings us to the events of Attack on Titan that we have watched since season 1, ever since Ymir's character has been introduced. And I actually really liked getting to see the season 1 shots within this episode as well. It was just very nostalgic just to go back to the earlier days when everything just wasn't so tragic, and they were just training to try to fight Titans, and before the whole world basically got flipped upside down and shit hit the fan. But the whole ending bit is what really escalated the pacing for me, and I'm really looking forward to next episode, because once Ymir finally commits to being with Reiner and Bertolt, for her to go off and try to find Krista, and just watching as John and Mikasa and Armin are looking at Ymir's Titan form as all of the cadets are surrounding the forest trying to look for Eren and Ymir. They locate Ymir, but you can see Ymir is just looking for someone, and as soon as she sees Krista, bites down on her, puts her in her mouth. She doesn't eat her, but we can tell that she's storing Krista in her mouth, ends up making her way back to Reiner and Bertolt. Bertolt has Eren on his back. Reiner transforms. Then we just see Ymir on Reiner's back, at the very end of this episode, with everyone chasing after them out of the forest. And the last line that gets delivered by Hannes, it's a death flag for me. Him saying, "I will try to rescue Eren, even if that means I have to sacrifice my life." I have a feeling by the end of this season, since Hannes has been introduced back, odds are he's most likely going to die trying to rescue Eren, and that's going to suck, because he's basically the father figure for Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, and to see him go is going to be really, really sad, and it's just inevitable, I feel right now, with his character, and just the way that he's been reintroduced back into the story, and I feel like the only way he's been reintroduced is so that way he can sacrifice himself to rescue Eren. But overall, this episode started off, like I said, like the last 2 episodes, but the pacing picked up. That backstory, I think, was really, really needed for us that are just anime-only watchers, but there's been a lot of information dropped within this episode that you can really speculate on and just dive into and try to put the puzzle together to where you finally have a coherent picture out on the map, and you can kind of put your the pieces in place. And I really like that about this episode. Season 2 has been a lot about knowledge, giving the audience some answers to a lot of the questions that we've been having on season 1 of Attack on Titan, and I feel like this season is really delivering on the answers that we really need. But I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think about this overall episode? Did you like the backstory of Ymir within this episode, and getting to see her upbringing from a poor street child, but being into a worshipped goddess in a way? But also that ending bit with Ymir taking Krista, but then also, attaching herself onto the back of Reiner, with Bertolt holding Eren, and they're just having everyone within the Survey Corp, particularly everyone from the Cadet 104th Division with Hannes, leaving the forest and going out trying to rescue Eren. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'm really excited for these last 2 episodes for season 2 of Attack on Titan. So if you guys are fans of Attack on Titan and feel like subscribing, feel free to do so. I would love to talk with you guys on these last 2 episodes before Attack on Titan is going to be over, and hopefully we get a season 3 somewhere down the road, and hopefully it doesn't take another 5 years to get it. So that's going to be the end of this review, guys, until episode 11 or episode 36, which comes out next week. I'll talk with you guys then. All right, guys, see you later.